Today we are going to talk about my 5 favorite features in SnagIt. In this scenario, I am creating a training guide about OneDrive and need to get some screenshots to go with the written instructions. When I took my screenshot, the SnagIt editor automatically opened. There's a lot of information on this screen, and I have learned that if there's too much on the screen, people get distracted by reading the screenshot rather than following the instructions. So that's fair enough. What I'm going to do is use Simplify. Because I use Simplify frequently, it's already in the favorite section of my toolbar. But if you don't see it in your toolbar, you can click on the drop-down box next to More, then scroll down to Customize Toolbar, and then you will find the full list of tools, including Simplify, and then click Done. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see the Simplify options. The first thing that you can do is you can use the Auto Simplify up at the top of the screen. Now, what this is going to do is have SnagIt try to figure out exactly how much information you want covered up on your screen. Typically, I don't use Auto Simplify because usually the parts I want to display are covered as well. Instead, what I'm going to do is turn off Auto Simplify and then manually decide where I want the boxes to go. In the Tool Properties section, I have a few choices. I can select an oval, a single box, or a set of lines to cover some text. So first, what I'm going to do is select the oval and cover up my picture. We don't need to distract people by seeing the picture on the screen. Now I'm going to simplify the Excel file name as well as the modified and file size columns to see how I like it. The file name over here all by itself seems a little bit weird and distracting, so I'm just going to simplify the middle columns. The next thing I'm going to demonstrate is the Magnify tool. It's not on my favorites right now, so I'm going to select the drop-down for More and click on Magnify. In the quick styles, you have several options, and the one I typically use is the rectangle. And what I'm going to do is take that and draw around the item that I want to magnify. In this example, the magnify box was blocking my simplify, so I can use the rectangle with the callout to make it show up bigger below the actual item, and that might create a better visual effect on the screen. It's totally up to how you prefer your screenshots to look. My next favorite feature is the stamps. Now, I tend to draw a lot of red squares on my screenshots, and that can be a bit boring. So in order to provide some variety, I will go to the stamp section, and then I'm going to go to the interface section and scroll through until I find my favorite mouse pointer option. If I were smart about it, I would mark it as a favorite so I didn't have to constantly scroll through all the options to look for it. But now that I found it, I can place the stamp on the canvas and resize it and then position it exactly the way I want so that I am now calling out that the user who's reading my training guide needs to click on the new button. I typically don't like to have more than 3 things on a single screenshot, so I'm going to quickly take another screenshot so that we can continue building out our fictitious training guide. The next favorite feature I'm going to show you is callouts. In the quick style section, you have multiple choices. I'm going to select this red square with the text box included with it. In this example, people often call me because they can't send their Outlook attachments to OneDrive. The usual problem is that the person has deleted the attachments folder. So I'm going to put in a callout box to emphasize the written instructions and say, do not delete this folder. Notice that the text is a little bit small, but you still have a basic formatting toolbar where you can make the text a little bit bigger until it looks just right on your screenshot. My last favorite feature isn't actually in the toolbar. It's the effects that you can add to the screenshot as a whole. Once you switch the toggle button from Properties to Effects, you'll see these quick effects. For example, one of my coworkers loves to put this jagged edge on the bottom of almost all of her screenshots. That doesn't happen to be my favorite effect. What I like to do is put a border around my screenshots. Now notice here in this particular one, there's a lot of white space. And when you copy and paste this screenshot into Word, it tends to blend in and wash out. So to make my screenshot stand out, I put a very subtle, thin border around it in a light gray color. Notice in the quick effects, you can change the color of the border to anything you want to make it stand out if that is your preference. Like I said, I prefer a subtle light gray. You also have the option to increase the width of the border. So in this example, you can see that my screenshot looks like a frame because I've got it turned up all the way to 76. An example of one more effect is the page curl. I like to use this when I'm layering screenshots to make it look like I'm turning a page. Now you can use the corner indicator to change which corner the curl is on. These are just some of my favorite tools in SnagIt, but I encourage you to try SnagIt out and see what tools become your favorite. And let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.